Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves.
Welcome back, everybody, to Near Mint Condition, where we are today looking at Justice League of America, The Bridge Between Earths, with a first look. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Once again, welcome back, everybody, to an overview of these DC Finest collected editions that I am running every single week, that they are allowing us to get one of these DC Finest collections, and the fourth now of which is Justice League of America, The Bridge Between Two Earths by mainly Gardner Fox and penciler Mike Sekowsky. Here's a look at the front of the trade paperback with, of course, the iconic issue number 56 cover by Carmine Infantino and Mr. Anderson. Here's a look at the spine. Taking a look there. You have the Justice League of America, Bridge Between Two Earths, 1966 to 69. Here is a look at the back presenting DC Finest Stories, Crisis on Two Earths, with the years highlighted as you can see, from 1966 to 1969. This is collecting issues 45 through 72 of the 1960s. Here is a look at what the Justice League of America spines look like in retrospect to Superman, the First Superhero, and Batman Year 1, Year 2. I know it's not in sequential order, but that is what we do have. There's a side look for those wondering. It is a little bit tinier than the Batman Year 1, Year 2 in terms of page count, so of course it's going to have a smaller DC Bullet logo, as I aforementioned. And again, all of these books are going to have differing sizing logos on the spine, which might not upset some. But other than that, let's go ahead and take a quick look into what constitutes the contents of this story. All right, everybody, here is a look at Justice League of America, The Bridge Between Two Earths. As you can see on the front, again, Gardner Fox, Mike Sekowsky, Sid Green being the main inker for most of these issues. And as if it were on topped by an appearance by the Atom and the rest of the Justice League, with none other than Hawkman staring off into the front side. Here is a look at the content creation table of contents along with the copyrighted information. I'm going to be talking more about Julius Schwartz in next week's first look with The Flash, because he is one of the most important people ever to be in the comic book industry, and I don't think we'd have any of the stories we have today without his leadership and guidance. Big thank you again to Reza Lockman and Steve Cook for the design of these books as well. Again, here's a look at the table of contents, mentioning that all stories are indeed by Gardner Fox, penciled by Mike Sekowsky, and inked by Sid Green, unless otherwise noticed. So yes, let's talk about some of the issues in this book. I actually wanted to talk about the two-parters, mainly because I think if I talked about the story in each of these individually, I would be here for a long time. And just so that other people might not know, this is an interesting part of DC Comics, because DC wasn't set on one Earth as it was today. They didn't do that until the banger event, which was called Crisis on Infinite Earths, as some of you might know. Now, the thing with Crisis on Infinite Earths is that it bridged every single one of these Earths to one singular part of the universe. It didn't explode again until Infinite Crisis came a couple of years later. So I guess spoilers for those unaware, I am going to be talking about a little bit of those. But yes, unlike back in the day, DC wasn't all centered on one or two specific Earths. It was just all over the place. You had Superman on his own, you had Batman on his own, the JSA on their own. But Gardner Fox was really the first one to bridge these worlds together, in between the fact of this and, again, the Bridge Between Two Earths event, which is what we are talking about today. And these aren't comics that I will say will take a short amount of time to go in and deal with. These are novels. These, if you look at some of these issues, they are quite long to read. They don't market themselves as long, sprawling arcs. So if you are somebody who is reading, say, a Jonathan Hickman or anybody of that sort, Grant Morrison, Mark Waid, if you're reading any one of those guys, sure, some of them have the 1-2-parter stories in between, but they weren't as long to read through as this. I remember when I was in Florida reading this for the first time to get myself acquainted with not only DC Silver Age, but also in preparation for this first look, I was asking myself, am I gonna get burnt out on these stories because these are taking a long time to get through? So if you are one of those people, I would say maybe sample an issue or two before getting into the book, because these are not easy reads. These force you to go through, read every single part of the narration. That is the way these stories are structured. I don't think it necessarily takes away from some of the novelty that this era has. I think, if anything, it made me wonder, what were these characters actually like in the Silver Age? What was Martian Manhunter actually like in the Silver Age? What was Diana like in the Silver Age? What was Clark like in the Silver Age in a team setting? But I think the novelty of this, not only in getting to see how these characters were written back in the day, but also who appeared in them. Some of these characters stuck through and through. We still have the Spectre today. We still have Dr. Fate today. We still have Green Arrow and the Atom today. Gardner Fox really was the first one to put Atom and Hawkman on the map. I think a lot of his stories are a lot better in the Golden Age than they are in the Silver Age. Again, so it's interesting to see how he's writing a team in that retrospect and writing two teams against each other, and especially with the crossover. Now, some of these stories have characters that aren't in particularly fond of usage today. There are villains that I don't see often or anymore because of Crisis on Infinite Earths. You have characters like Generalissimo Gog. You have characters like the Antimatter Man. You have characters like Gem Girl. These are created characters by Gardner Fox and Mike Sekowsky that don't pop in as often because of events that happened 20 years after the fact. I will also say, if you are one of those continuity geeks, Joshua Williamson did touch on some of the characters in this book in his Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths event. So whenever that gets an omnibus, you could do a retrospective there and see, oh, like, how was this character used back then? So it's not that these characters weren't retroactively being used, it's that this is a nice, interesting trinket in terms of who was actually able to survive through the Anti-Monitor in that event. And I will leave you folks with two things on why I believe this is significant to not only the time that it was written, but also the significance of why this is being published by DC. We, in my honest opinion, do not have the events that we have today without these specific stories. Bridge Between Two Earths was so dramatic in the fact that you could actually fold through, maybe these characters can coexist and they can fight, and what are the explanations behind why they're there in the first place? I'm not going to spoil who those characters are and why some of these characters are brought into the fold, but I will say it definitely piqued my interest when I found out why the Earth 1 and Earth 2 conjunctions were brought along in as much as the fold in this story. And the second part is that in my honest opinion, I don't know if we have a George Perez. I don't know if we have a Phil Jimenez. I don't know if we have an Andy Kubert or even a Greg Capullo if we don't have Mike Sekowsky. Mike Sekowsky's art and the way that he draws the action, draws the stories being told, and some of the expressions that these characters... I know that it's not for everybody, but I do think he's one of the more under-talked about Silver Age artists in that retrospect. I would like to see some more Mike Sekowsky admiration. If any of you guys ever get to this, it's probably not going to hit with a lot of folks out there, but I do think in terms of the Silver Age people, in terms of talking about creators like Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, John Romita Sr., the Kurt Swans, the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's of the world. In addition to those creators, I do think Sekowsky stands on his own as a testament to the stories that they were trying to tell in Justice League with a larger team, with a larger ensemble. And it does leave me less to be desired than I originally thought going into this series. And on top of that, you have the DC Bullet logo. I thought that was cool. I actually wonder when the production of these were, if they knew in advance they were going to bring the DC Bullet logo back into the fold, because this wasn't the logo back when these comics were being published. And of course, Justice League of America being one of the seminal titles of this era of storytelling, along with the Penguin and Dr. Light and everybody else that you could think of during this time. And that, as they say, is that. Now, if you're looking to buy one of these, check out our sponsors.
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $200 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
And that's going to be it for me. I am Dom of X. Let me know if you are going to be getting this trade paperback down in the comments section below, and if you are planning on sampling out some of these JLA stories. But that is it for me. You be you, and stay fresh, Minties.